Welcome to today's edition of the Life in the UK Test 4 course. And today we'll be looking at the Roman invasion. So, if you watched the previous video, we talked about the days of the Stone Age, Iron Age, and things that are quite significant during those times. Event that happened that has shaped the UK to what it is currently. So we are still on the history of the early Britain. This one is talking about the invasion of the Romans Empire, and the Romans invaded the UK for the first time under the rulership of Julius Caesar. So Julius Caesar was the first person to lead an invasion of the Britain by the Roman Empire, and this was in the year 55 BC. So that was the first invasion by the Roman Empire. And one thing is, this invasion was not successful. Okay, so it was an unsuccessful attempt. Left, and for about 100 years there wasn't any attempt of any invasion from the Roman Empire until the year AD 43. AD 43, and this one was led by Emperor Claudius. So the name of the person who led this invasion was Emperor Claudius. So this one was led by Julius Caesar. The first one, Julius Caesar, which was not successful. That was in the year 55 BC. And later, AD 43 was when Emperor Claudius also made an attempt, and this one was very successful. So the Roman Empire was able to conquer almost every part of the UK, that is the Britain. One interesting thing is, even though the invasion by Emperor Claudius was very successful, there was some resistance. Okay, so people resisted, they fought back, and one prominent person who led this kind of resistance was known as the Boudica. And this Boudica that we are talking of, this is the picture over here, and she was a queen of what we call Iceni. If we talk of Iceni, it is one of the tribes that were here in the Britain. So this was their queen, and she organized an army to fight back the Roman Empire led by Claudius, who was an emperor. And this Iceni tribe queen, known as Boudica, if you go to the Westminster Bridge, that is closer to the Houses of Parliament, her statue is over there. So this is her statue over here. This is her statue over here. So she was a queen mother who fought a very good fight, even though the Romans were able to conquer Britain. Almost every part of UK was conquered, except some areas of Scotland. That was the only part that was never conquered during this invasion, because the people over there were giving them a tough time. This led to the construction of a wall at the northern part of UK. So they built a wall known as the Hadrian Wall. So what you see here is the Hadrian Wall. So that is the wall, and this was specifically built just to keep the Scottish people, that is the ancestors of the Scottish people known as the Picts, from threatening the existence of the Roman Empire. So that is the wall, and this is a very historic site, and it has been preserved as a World Heritage Site under UNESCO, and that is how the wall looked like. After this invasion, the Romans were able to remain in the UK for 400 years. So they stayed in the UK, they remained in the UK for 400 years, which is quite a very long time. So during their 400 years in the UK, they began to introduce new plants, animals, and they also introduced Christianity, and in the 3rd and 4th centuries, Christian communities began to pop up in the UK. Key information about the Roman invasion. The first unsuccessful attempt was led by Julius Caesar, which was in the year 55 BC, which they left for like 100 years. There was no attempt again until Emperor Claudius made a successful attempt. That was in the year AD 43, and this one they conquered almost every part of the UK. However, there was some resistance from other parts of other tribes in the UK, where I mentioned that there was a woman known as Boudica, who was a queen of Iceni, so Boudica. And if you go to the Westminster Bridge, you see a statue of her over there. The Romans also built a wall known as the Hadrian Wall. And that was towards the northern part of UK. That is to prevent the Scottish people from fighting back, because they were giving them a tough time, and they remained in the UK for 400 years. And Christian communities began to pop up in the UK, and that was within the year or the centuries of the 3rd and 4th centuries. So these are key information that you can be asked during the test. Thanks for joining today, and don't forget to subscribe and join the next lesson.